Hello, my name is Lindsay Markel. Today I am the member of government. Today I'm going to provide you with 3 rebuttals and 2 pieces of positive matter. My first piece of positive matter being that research can be done effectively without experimenting on innocent animals. My second piece of positive matter is that banning animal testing is the ethical thing to do. So for my first rebuttal, my opponent stated that animal testing creates life-saving cures. I'm not even going to try to deny this entirely. However, I do want to point out that it has as well harmed humans. If you were to undergo a clinical trial, there is an over 90% chance that the drug that tested safe and effective on animals will not be safe and effective on you. There have been numerous cases where drugs that were predicted to cure diseases like Alzheimer's and hepatitis B, in fact, killed the participants of the trials. And these drugs, they weren't tested on rats and mice and birds, but they were tested on monkeys. And we continuously say that monkeys are most reliable and best predict human reactions. So basically, all this is doing is exemplifying exactly why we should not count on animal testings to determine how we will react to certain drugs and chemicals. My partner also pointed out that animals are protected under the Animal Welfare Act of 1996. However, this only provides minimal protection. 95% of animals that are in laboratories, which are mice, rats, birds, and all cold-blooded mammals, are not protected under this act. Therefore, we aren't protecting barely any of the animals in these labs. My second rebuttal is to my opponent's statement that animal testing is benefiting animals. She states that it is helping them and it is not harming, hurting, or killing them in any way. I mean, I assume she's referring to the animals that we humans own. However, that is putting their importance over the importance of these animals, which is just completely wrong. As well, she is not taking into account the hundreds of millions of animals that are killed yearly in these labs. So, I mean, yeah, they're dying, they're being killed and being harmed. We shouldn't be breeding animals simply for the purpose to kill them to benefit other animals. That's just wrong. My third rebuttal is to the statement that biologists support animal testing. There has actually been a rise in the percentage of scientists who do not support it simply because of the fundamental biological differences among species and how it is being determined more and more now that we cannot rely on animal testing to predict human outcomes. One scientist from the Diabetes Research Institution recently said that we can no longer rely on studies on mice and rats. It is now imperative that we focus on humans. At the end of the day, it is the only way to understand how they function. Therefore, this point can be disregarded because it's not true. My first piece of positive matter is that, which my partner touched on it slightly, but there are alternatives to animal testing that are more accurate, less costly, and more time efficient. These tests include sophisticated in vitro, genomic, and computer modeling techniques. Instead of rubbing corrosive chemicals into rabbits' eyes, we can now drop that chemical into a 3D tissue structure produced from human cells, and the results that we get from this way of testing chemicals will be much more accurate and much safe and ultimately a lot more ethical. For the last decades, we haven't been presented alternative methods, but now that with the increase in technology, I'm just wondering why we are not making the transitions to more effective, ethical, less costly, and more time-efficient methods. So for my second piece of positive matter is that banning animal testing is the ethical thing to do. These animals are innocent creatures, and because they are defenseless, we are wrongly taking advantage of them. The animals in these labs, they are in such small places that they develop neurotic behaviors. They spin in circles, they bite their skin, they pull out their hair. It's all because they're being force-fed pesticides, they're having chemicals rubbed onto their skin, they're being forced to inhale toxic fumes, and this is just wrong. Most animals have no rights in these laboratories, and it's completely unethical. They suffer from extreme pain before they're thrown away like pieces of garbage, and this simply isn't something that we as Americans should be supporting because it is so horrible, and they cannot help themselves, so the only thing that we can do is help them. So what have I given you today? Today I've presented you with an immoral problem that our society has up until now decided to overlook. I've also provided you with ways that we can overcome this, and I hopefully have made you realize some of the realities of animal testing. The only way that we can stop this is if we get involved, which is exactly why you should side with the government team in banning animal testing.